Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is the Fly Me to the Moon process video for the Makers Creative Collab for July, hosted by PM Artist Studio. So this is my pop-up card for the Mother Goose nursery rhyme, Hey Diddle Diddle. I used a large oversized jumbo card, playing card. I gessoed, cut it in half, and then glued it down to some printed paper. And I left paper down the middle between the two to create a W sort of fold, and you'll see in a second how I try to fold it all up and get it to do like sort of an accordion. And I just am using glitter glue. It's plenty, and the gesso is to help the glue adhere better to the paper. And the print on this paper is from a watercolor print or watercolor painting I did that I also used texture paste on the paper and then watercolored over it, and you'll see more of that coming up. So here you see I'm doing the fold to create a W between the two covers, the front and the back. Took me a couple of tries, but I got it. And in the background here, I'm just putting in a gel print of stars, and that's going to be the background for the moon and all the other characters. And here I'm just measuring out the background, make sure it fits and make sure it's not too tall. And then I have my selection of moon men, and I chose this one, the larger one, and decided it needed some glitter, some shine. So I threw it down on the gel plate with some gold paint and got that nicely coated up. I eventually changed the moon, and I did a different size. I'm adding just a little more paint on the plate to add some more gold to my background there. And this is more of that cover paper that I'm going to use for the back half of the card. So I'm calling the front half of the card where you start looking, where you see all the characters, and the foreground. And in the foreground, I'm going to use the colored version of this, or actually the original piece from this watercolor print. And it's cool because it looks like a walkway. And here again, I'm just using glitter glue, and that seems to work the best. Now that everything's trimmed up, I think I'm going to go ahead and figure out how I'm going to lay out the hills of grass. So I decided to take some gel print that I had. It was actually a brayer off in green. That was a perfect grass green, so I just made some hills out of it, just cutting it in round shapes and playing with the different levels. So it kind of gave it a more three-dimensional feel. So once I've lined these up and then I glue them in, I'm pulling in the different characters just to kind of see where I'm going to fit everybody. And this is kind of the point where I decided I'm going to change the moon and use another one. Again, I colored this one up because I wanted it to give it a little shine. It takes a few minutes to kind of fiddle around and get everything in the right position. So, you got to take your time. This video was originally about 3.5 hours long of all the footage combined. So, yeah. So now I am getting the cow ready. I had already pre-cut some of these pieces. And then now I'm cutting in the dog. This is the laughing dog. Or cutting it out. And then I also have, you can see in the left there, I've got the cat with the fiddle, and then I've got a spoon running away with the dish running away with a spoon. These are all things I got off the internet, nothing special. The dog and the cow I actually got from a collage book I have. Now, I decided to color in the dish that ran away with the spoon because the only one I liked that I could find was in black and white. So I just used that, and then you'll see I colored it in with some colored pencils. Like I said earlier, I switched it out. It just wasn't the right size. And that's why you can't glue everything down once, you don't want to glue anything down until you're absolutely sure that you want it there, because then you're going to mess it all up. Yeah, I thought I did a pretty good job coloring it in, but again, like I said, it's just not going to fit. This is that watercolor print that I did. It's got texture paste directly on the watercolor paper, and then I watercolored over it, and I'm using that as the foreground. And it's cool because it's got that texture to it, the bumpiness. Once this is all glued in, the background, I just go around, I kind of outline it with some, edge it with some gold paint. Trying to hide some of the white spots. And so now that I've got this ready to go, and I've decided where the grass is going to go and how it's going to be positioned, I'm starting to glue everything down. And then I decided I wanted some trees. So I have these die cuts of these stems that I trimmed up, painted black with the Posca marker, and then just I glued them to the background, and you'll see in a minute how that'll look. And it's kind of cool because it gives it that effect of trees, big forest in the background. Now here I am putting together my characters and going around them with some ink just to take away any of the white edge, and just using the black. I don't really want to distress it, I just wanted to get that white edge off of it. And I'm using I forgot what these are called, these little foam stickers, the three-dimensional, the thick ones, and I just use them just to give it a little lift and a little more dimension to the card. As I continue adding elements, I'm always just checking to make sure it's the right height, the right width, and all that good stuff, and just adjusting it to the card and to what I'm looking for. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun to make. This is the dish that ran away with the spoon that I decided to go with. It's in color, and it fits the card better, the balance within all the characters and all the bits and pieces. I'm getting much better at this fussy cutting thing. So I think I'm gonna glue stuff down. But you see, you gotta wait and make sure you got everything you need and everything is in the right size before you really commit. Now, to cover up some of the white lines that are going to be showing, I just used some green pencil, and then that wasn't dark enough, so I went in with some of my Ranger ink in green and just started filling in the little gaps and shading it out. And it turns out that darker green worked really well because you created some cool shadows, and it gave the grass and the hillies just a little more oomph, if you will. Here, I just cut out a printed version of the nursery rhyme and just tore around it, and then I sprayed it with some gold glitter spray. And once that dried, I was able to go ahead and glue it up. This is the only thing that I distressed, I think, besides the name on the front of the card, but otherwise it's just Posca marker or my gold pen and the green ink. Yeah, this spray is great. It dries very quickly, so it didn't take much time. Here I'm constructing the belly band, and it's basically a brayer off sheet that I cut a strip out of, and just made a belly band. I chose this particular one because the colors go really well with the colors on the envelope. The envelope is a printed version of that watercolor with the texture, but I printed it in color. Now the front and the back, the front of the card is the black and white version. This is the true color version, and you see how well that strip from the brayer sheet goes with the envelope. And after it's all glued down, I put a little man on the moon right on the front. And I did it off camera, but I splattered gold watercolor paint on the front and the back of the card with that belly band on, so it gave it a nice, cool, shiny stuff on it. Unfortunately, I did not film the part where I made the front cover to the card, which you can see there. It's got the blue stars background with some gold textured paper and some jewels, and then Mother Goose, the name. But you'll see in the pictures at the end what it looks like. Really simple, just layered. Just trying to make sure this all fits together. And it does, it looks great. And I'm just taking some black Posca pen and going around all the edges of the card to just make sure it's got a unified look. You don't see any of that white edging. And this is the card. You see how great that front looks. That textured paper is really cool. So you're gonna open it this way, and then ta-da! Everything pops up real nice. It takes a few times to like kind of just get it to sit right, because I literally just finished it. But once you get it folded right and everything's glued right, it'll stand up great. I hope you enjoyed that, everyone. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. At the end of this will be some images of the card.